Hello, this is Jim and Rhenda with Heartiness Approach. We're away from our homestead. We have this year where we are without the homestead by choice, but really not totally by choice. We had to make some changes if we were going to live the way we wanted to. And taking this break, we hadn't planned on it being quite as long as it's turning out to be.
But we're going to make the best of it.
But despite that, we're not losing focus on what's really important and what's really necessary. So we're going to be showing you some clips from things from our homestead in Oregon.
When we were doing talks about what hardiness is.
Right.
And we came to a realization of how much we needed a homestead. And
yes.
And it was really good for me to look at that and see that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we hope you enjoy these.
Why share what it is?
Why are we doing this?
You know, and I ask myself that because it's a lot of work. But when I have something I feel so strongly about and that's worked so well, I almost feel like it's a sin not to share it. Does that make sense?
Plus, too, I think you recognize in your life, most people, everybody I know, when they have something really wonderful that happens to them that they learn about, they want to share it with people they care about, with everybody. It's just common that we want to share the good things that come into our lives for all we're trying to accomplish, so it's good.
So we have a question for you. Where do you see your future? Do you see yourself biking and hiking and working your homestead? Do you see yourself with perfect blood pressure and your blood sugars are in control?
You know, we hope you see yourself that way. That's really the way to look at yourself, to strive for that kind of a lifestyle.
We just got the news that it's going to be 111 in Oregon this week. Ask us how all excited we are about that.
Well, what's really exciting about that is this is the week we plan on processing our chickens outside. Can you imagine that? God, it's going to be hot.
We have got to figure this one out. So we will figure that one out tomorrow. Today we're having our carb buster meal. Quinoa. This is any vegetable that you have. This is leftovers from last night. It's cooked cabbage, summer squash, and zucchini squash.
From our garden. And
this is 2 eggs.
From our chickens. And this
is milk, raw milk. We met someone in the last few weeks who he's my age, who's had a heart attack. And
he's a young guy.
He's my age. He's a young guy. And he has had a heart attack, and I was standing here, and Jim was standing here, and he was standing here, so they're facing each other. And here's Jim with his belly that's thin, and here's this person whose belly is out like this. Jim's belly used to be out like that when he had the problem. And where we have the dismay is that when this happened to Jim, it shocked us into change right then and there. It was like, throw everything out that we have, we're starting over. But what we heard in this individual and what we hear in so many people is a total and absolute lack of hope. When Jim was talking to him about how diet and exercise could change his health, he says, well, I'd like to believe that, but I don't. And people just have the idea that
I was dumbfounded. I'm like, really? I'm telling you, I did it and I've changed, and you just think maybe it's going to work? Here I am. This is not an aberration.
So, disease that isn't caused by poor nutrition is very rare. But if it is caused by poor nutrition over years of it, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can turn things around. I have a really good friend who has osteoporosis, and she's older than me, and she knows that through her diet and exercise, she can reverse it. And that's the difference between the hope and the no hope.
Do this with fun and not just be stern about it, because it's serious. And a reason, I know what makes me stern is I've lived close with and known many people who, totally against their desires, were finding themselves moving into a facility somewhere.
Now understand, we managed a brand new, gorgeous, we called it a dry dock cruise ship, gorgeous independent living community. And we had so much fun with the people that were there, and they become family.
Wonderful place. Wonderful place.
But I can also tell you that within a month, most of them had gained 20 pounds on the food that they were offered there, which is supposedly
now some of them needed to gain 20 pounds, but most didn't.
Most didn't.
It was really, it hurt them.
And so we just stopped. We're like, no, if that's all you believe, that the only way you can be healthy is for eating supplements, then that is not the way. What do we believe? We believe in a garden.
Yes. Now, also, that in addition to the recommended diets being a problem, we believe that there can be a regeneration of poor health. In the same way, you can regenerate your land through the grazing
using
methods and all the techniques. You can improve soil that's poor by adding a lot of biomass to it. I mean, there's so many techniques to it, and we know we can regenerate the land. We can regenerate through several different techniques where we are. Our bodies are no different. They're part of this whole biosphere that we live in, and when we give them what they need, not what we want, what our eyes want, but what our body needs, we'll regenerate. We will get healthy. One of the things we've talked about also is unlearning. Much of what is provided.
Pry off your head, pull it all out, put the head back on.
Unlearn, get new information in there. There's a lot of literature out there, a lot of educated people, a lot of knowledgeable places are repeating the same lines without doing any thoughtful research or examination to know of the ineffectiveness, actually the detriment of many of the dietary encouragements that are going on.
So when we started this journey, really 180 days ago, we were like, well, it's nice to have a homestead. That's just a nice thing that we'll put on top of eating real food and exercising and being emotionally well. Now, after 141 days, we know that it is such an integral part of health.
We're not just more convinced, we have a broader, deeper understanding of what it takes to be healthy, what it takes to have a homestead that's producing the kinds of foods that we really need.
Here, I'll just turn the camera for a moment. We have been joined by our friends. Make sure it's still right. Okay.
They're amazing.
We love these turkeys. I think they're going to be pets for life.
So there you have it. A lot of what we've had to say, and I hope along the way we've shown you a few techniques, a few ideas of what and how you can do it. But what's really important here is that as we're not losing sight and seeing what can happen, we're attempting to adapt what we're doing to our situation right now.
Absolutely true.
Producing what we can, finding good sources. I mean, we hadn't been here, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It was cold time, tough. But we found a great farm market. I mean, this is a guy that has a farm kind of in amongst the...
And good eggs, good milk.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So maybe it's not possible to find them everywhere, but from what I'm seeing, almost anywhere you go, there's going to be somebody producing the good food. So if you can't do it yourself, you can find it.
And above all, if you get anything from this video, remember the part where we talked about hope. Please have the hope that if you have an illness, you can regenerate your life by changing your lifestyle.
We're convinced, we're proof of it. We see others almost every day. We get comments about people who are making a difference and watching the problems dissipate as they change their lifestyle and make the improvements that cause that to happen.
So we'd love you to sign on to our website for newsletter, because give us your email, we'll send you a newsletter. We're very excited about this newsletter that's coming out. It's evolving, it's going to get better and better, and help give ideas for you to be able to live sustainably in place.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.